I just watched the new Netflix documentary on Elvis, Return of the King, the fall and rise of Elvis Presley. And I have to say, I thought it was really freaking good. Hey y'all, welcome back to Beyond Graceland. If you happen to be new here, my name is Emily, and we just talk about everything Elvis, right? Just watched it last night and wanted to jump on real quick here and kind of get down my thoughts and see if we can have a discussion about it. The first thing that really caught my attention was some of the archival footage that they included. Of course, a lot of it is things that we've already seen, but I felt like maybe there was some extended footage of that. Maybe, when they would just cut those up real quick for us in whatever documentary or newsreel that we've seen in the past. I felt like this was maybe a little bit of an extended of that, at least a couple of shots. I thought it was really cool. Maybe a couple of pictures. I'll have to go back that I had to think twice about, have I seen that before or not? So I thought it was really cool for a lot of us who have been lifelong Elvis fans. I think that everybody can get something out of this, even if you've, never really paid much attention to Elvis before. If you're not really a fan, I think that everybody can get something out of this. So new fans and old ones alike, I think will really enjoy this. I thought there was a really cool section of him in the Army. Some more extended interviews that we don't usually see. Not that they're unseen, but you may have to dig a little deeper in finding those. And so I thought that was really cool that they included. I feel like maybe the biggest chunk on when they're describing in the title the fall and rise of Elvis. So they're getting that from the fall of maybe his career or popularity during the, early 60s through the movies and how they kind of sucked the life out of Elvis. And, as fans, we of course enjoy the movies because we get to see Elvis, but it did do a lot of damage to him. And what's interesting that I saw in the documentary was, I can't remember who said it, but it might have been Bruce Springsteen. But when he was saying that they did some more dramatic roles, and of course we like them, Flaming Star and Wild in the Country, but they didn't sell as much, and there wasn't really a soundtrack to go along with it. And I guess the audience preferred to see Elvis sing. So they made all of the cheesy, low-budget movies that Elvis has been quoted as saying they made him violently ill, knowing that he had to go do that he had to fulfill the contracts of those movies. And that's completely understandable. What I found interesting is that it's because the fans wanted to see him sing. Well, yeah, he's a singer, right? First, he was a singer. That's what we were all drawn to. I wanted to hear him sing. I wanted to see him sing. Well, what's weird to me and what I can't really understand, at least at first, was that, well, if that's the case, then why wasn't he on tour during the 60s? Like most singers do. But then I thought about old Parker. And you know what? From now on, I'm not even going to call him Colonel, because that's just stupid. Wasn't even his name, wasn't a title, never earned that in any way. It's a title he gave himself. So from now on this channel, he's just referred to as Parker, right? Well, the reason that there was no concerts is because Parker knew that you had to pay a lot of money to go on tour, okay? Some of you may not know this. Being in the music industry, when an artist or a team, a label, decides that that artist is going to go on tour, the artist is responsible for paying for all of those expenses. For the venues, the artist pays for those venues. When you go see a show of your favorite artist at an arena or stadium, that artist is paying to play there. They're renting that arena, that stadium, to put on the show. Now, however they work out the details as far as income, it can be anything from a percentage of ticket sales. It can be all of the ticket sales. It can be a portion of the concessions sold. Usually not. Usually, like a stadium will take all of the revenue from, concessions. But you're allowed to sell your merch, and the artist usually keeps all the merch. But then you have to pay your managers, you have to pay your promotions, everybody in your team. The label usually gets a cut. Of course, all of your band members, all the people that are, moving on your stage. You'll have to build your stage at the arena, at the stadium. You have all those people involved, all those employees that the artist is the one who pays. And so there's a lot of money involved in that. But the movies was just a paycheck to Elvis, who was controlled by the colonel and got 50% of all of his income. Didn't have to pay the crew, didn't have to pay the band, didn't have to pay any sort of promotions. No. The movie production companies paid for all of that, on top of Elvis's salary and Parker's technical advisor salary that he would get on every freaking movie. So that is why he didn't tour. And that's also why fans wanted to see Elvis sing in the movies, because it was all they got. So he allowed it to happen because it was all that he was allowed to do. That's important. One thing I thought that was interesting and also sad was when Priscilla and Jerry Schilling are being filmed and asked of their reaction to one of the most ridiculous, if not the most ridiculous, scenes in any Elvis movie, when he's singing Old MacDonald on the back of a truck. And their reaction was, very sad, because they know that was humiliating to Elvis, rightfully so. So I thought that was an interesting thing that was done for that documentary, and I liked that a lot. It seemed real. I also thought that it was really cool that they added a lot of that audio from the interviews that he did for Elvis on tour. So this would have been a recording from late July, I believe is what Jerry says in his book, Me and a Guy Named Elvis. And a lot of it wasn't used for Elvis on tour, as we all know, but he said it was about 45 minutes worth of stuff. So I'm thinking about doing a video on that, actually, on that entire interview, because I've always thought it was really cool. When I very first listened to it, I was like, this has to be a part of the Elvis on tour, but I never knew that it was actually that much of the recording of it. So I thought it was cool to hear some of that in the background, because it's always great to hear Elvis describe all of these things that are going on in his own words. And another whole thing about the Priscilla haters, like, say what you want, I don't care. If you're ugly on this channel, you get sent to my YouTube channel's purgatory. You can argue with yourself all day long in there, and nobody will ever be able to see it. So just keep that in mind. But to all the Priscilla haters out there, I honestly, you can tell just by looking at the old home videos. Elvis was in love with her. He cared about her a lot. He would not have married her if he didn't. I mean, a picture says 1,000 words, right? Not what someone's opinion is who was never even involved with them. So take that for what you want it. And you can clearly see in those shots that they really cared about each other. Whether or not he maybe should have been married, was able to fully commit to that kind of relationship, maybe not. But that doesn't mean that they did not care about each other. That was, his life was something that would have been very, very strained in that relationship, and their connection. Obviously, they both had some issues, but I feel like it was just something that just was never going to be able to fully commit to. And, until you have had the same experiences, you're put in the same life, you're put in the same situations, I don't think you should be able to judge that. All I can go by is the pictures, and it's just really nice to see those things because there were some happy times, and you can actually see it because there's actual proof. So the rise part, we've gone through the fall, now we get into the rise part of it. And what they're saying is the rise of Elvis Presley is the 68 comeback special. I thought it was super interesting, but also maybe not surprising to hear that it was Parker's decision to add the little skits into the 68 comeback special. Because as we all know now, the 68 comeback special, or what became known as the 68 comeback special, was supposed to be a Christmas special, and it was all Parker's idea, and it was just too cheesy. It was just not gonna fly, and it really probably would have ended Elvis's career right then and there. So yeah, adding the skits, I always wondered about that because it doesn't seem to flow with any of the live performances. Because all the live performances, even in the beginning and even at the end, they're all live takes. In the skits, he's lip syncing over audio being played. So, I'm sure that that's not what he wanted to do. And as we've seen in some of the extended versions of the 68 comeback special where we can see all the outtakes, I think I actually have that little like kind of 3-disc DVD set that shows a lot of the outtakes. And super frustrated. Elvis super frustrated at having to do that kind of acting, that cheesy skit acting, and coming to find out it was all Parker's idea. So that tracks. And obviously the show was a success, but I feel like the biggest things that people remember about that is the black leather, the live performances, and then in the round with Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana. I'm not the biggest Charlie Hodge fan. I just feel like he's annoying. He's always like overly cackling. It's not even a laugh, really. So yeah, just, I don't know. But I love the fact that Scotty Moore was there and DJ Fontana. I thought that they added a really cool element to that. And that was just something really special that was captured. And I'm glad that they did it. But that was another thing that Parker wanted to nix. Like, you're somebody who's so money hungry, but yet you're actively doing things that are causing him to like fall off the map. So I've never understood that. But like we know, not a very good business person, not a very good manager. He was really just somebody who promoted, who could get him onto things. Whether he failed or not, I don't think it really mattered to him, as long as he got a paycheck. But the business side, not knowing that if you keep failing, if you keep doing things that aren't exciting to an audience, then you're just going to fall. And that's why we get the fall and then the rise. Because, as we know, the story is not a happy ending. Because Elvis never got to go tour in Europe, around the world. He had to basically stay in Vegas for a couple of years and then finally went on a American tour, or a regional tour at least. But then that's where he kind of kept him. And the effects of that, where Elvis really had no control over his own career, it's not a wonder that the prescriptions became such a issue, because what do you do when you're that depressed? you use something to escape from it. And in this case, it was pills. So anyways, I think that this is such a really good documentary for new fans, for old fans. You know, I had heard some people kind of poo-pooing on it before it came out, saying that it was just going to be the same as like something else. But I mean, most of the footage we've seen, so anything that does come out is going to be a little bit of the same. But I think that the way that they did this one, it really offers something exciting to even people who've been lifelong fans like myself. And then it makes you, you know, think of other things and want to connect other dots. And anytime that somebody puts something like that out, I'm going to love it. And I have to recommend this to everybody who likes Elvis, likes his movies, likes his music, likes him as a performer, a person. Check it out. It's super good. I would love to hear all your thoughts about it. Again, like I said, if you're going to be, you know, an asshole, you get sent to my purgatory. You can just chat with yourself down there and nobody will ever see it. So it sucks that we have to do that, but sometimes there's been some really ugly people come on this channel. But that's, you know, you're not hurting me, you're only hurting yourself. So all Elvis fans, welcome, but you're going to be nice. All right, y'all, thanks so much for checking out this video. If it is a video that you liked and you want to keep seeing things just like this, then hit that subscribe button. It's totally free to do that. And if you particularly liked this video, hit that thumbs up so that we can climb our way through the algorithms and grow as a community here together. All right, y'all, that's it for this video. I'll see y'all in the next one.